Welcome to Kearsley Chambers. So we completed on this building the other day. We've got planning granted. As you can see, there's a sold board on there. I'm going to take you on a tour around it, but then get run over going across the street. Let's show you this first. Bit of stained glass, going back to 1911. I think we'll probably have to keep that in there as a feature. So we have a look round. It's all in really not great condition. I mean, there's a lot of damp coming in, which is fine. It's not irreparable. We've calculated for that in all our build costs. But it's just, if this had smell-o-vision, you'd be able to smell the lovely damp smell. It's got lots of features, like a feature broken wall. All the rooms are great sizes, windows are great sizes. The only thing is we're going to be knocking every single wall down. Once you get to the top floor, you'll see that it's just huge. All the internal walls are not load bearing, so we can pretty much knock everything down and start from scratch. So these are the plans. We've yet to finalise the render. It may be that we don't have the outside like that. We may just keep the brick as it is and tart it up as that. This is actually partially to insulate the building as well, to offer additional insulation, but it does add quite a lot of cost to the building. So perhaps we will have internal insulation, which does reduce some of the internal space, but it saves a lot of money as well. So that is perhaps what it will look like, perhaps what it won't. You probably won't be able to see the detailed plans, but the plan is to have 18 ensuite bedrooms. This hasn't printed up properly, so you can't see some of the walls, but they range from 12 metres squared, which is one of the largest, down to 7.1. 6.5 is the minimum, so they are bigger than that, which is great. Part of the planning process means that we had to slightly shift these rooms round, on the ground floor. So originally, ground floor was going to have bedrooms coming out like this, with the natural light coming in through these ones. But these all have to be frosted, and you can't have just frosted glass in a bedroom. You have to have actual natural light. So the remedy for that on the first and second floor were to have new windows in the back of the building. However, on the ground floor, it's adjoining a building, so we've had to, you can't quite see it, but they're fairly narrow rooms down here, with natural light coming in there, and then with the en-suites, it's fine having frosted glass. So, right now we are standing around about here. So we're going to go back to the front, up the stairs, onto the first floor. You won't really be able to see much because work has yet to commence, but I will show you around. Then top floor at the moment, this is pretty much all open plan apart from the stairwell here. So, and the last thing is, I don't know if you can see on here, but we've got the basement as well. What we're going to be doing with, where is it? I'm not going to be able to turn this with one hand. Hang on. There you go. With the basement, we're going to have a 35 metre squared lounge. So it's lots of sofas, TV, little room to make coffee. It's like a very social. What we're trying to do is encourage people to be social. So they all have access to this big lounge. So there are 18 rooms. All have access to this, and it's the plan to encourage, I guess, a bit like co-living. So we'll take you down to the basement first, the scary basement with asbestos. We're actually moving the access to it, so this door will no longer be there once we're done. At the moment it looks horrible and you can't really see much because it's quite dark. But again, this is all going. All that's gone. That's the old boiler, which is very old and is definitely going, which means we can move a lot of this piping away. And then in this corner, that's an access onto the side road up a few steps. We're going to have basically the bin store in here, which in theory will have a lift that will lift the bins up to street level, which is around about here, so that the bin men can take it out there. which means that above here, which is one of the back rooms, we're going to have to raise that floor up and in order to give room for the bins, which is fine. The ceiling height is very high on this building. I don't think you're going to be able to see much in here, but yeah, there is. This is what's going to be the lounge. So if we go back up the stairs, back onto the ground floor, and then I work my way up to the first floor. Now, as I'm going up, I will explain what took so long to get planning. We submitted planning for 18 beds, which was fine, but the local council said we can't actually validate this planning, which is the point at which they start to consider whether they will accept it or not, grant it or not. And they can't validate it until they've got some tests back. Now, they wanted 2 tests. The first one is it's basically a test for sound, the acoustic survey, and that basically will define what kind of windows and what kind of soundproofing we'll need. That was fine. That takes 2 days to actually gather the data for that. The other one, let me just show you this. Does anyone want some Rice Krispies or cornflakes? Because they're more than welcome to have 2-year out-of-date breakfast for the next 3 years. Second test we had to have done was not noise pollution, was air quality. And in order to gather the data for that, you have to have these little tubes outside the building for 3 months straight. So 3 months worth of data collection, and then half a month to actually analyse the data. Now, that is kind of annoying considering that this is a student property and we need to capture the students at the right time of year. So it did delay things. Hopefully we should still be able to stay within the student year and let it out at the end, but it's just a bit annoying that it's kind of set us back that extra bit. So that's what took so long. We didn't expect them to ask for that, just purely because they haven't asked any other developments nearby for that. And they should have data on the area anyway. We think they've just done it to literally just gather data, which is annoying. So this is the first floor. I mean, not huge amounts to see. It's got services all in this side of the building. So ground, first and second floor, all the services are on here, which is great. Doesn't really make any difference because we're going to have en suites through all the rooms, and because of the lovely high ceilings, we can bring the ceilings down and have all the pipes running through that. Down here, around the corner, there's another room here. Again, like these are all stud walls, can be knocked down very easily. The only load-bearing ones are the ones either side of the staircase. So that's solid, which means that this staircase, this lovely wide staircase, will be staying. We can't slightly make it narrower. Now this is coming up to the top floor. This is all open plan, so you'll be able to see exactly what it looks like. There's a lovely ladder that came with the building. So this is where they used to hold the church services, strangely enough. So this is the full length and width of the building. All this needs to stay. It's all, it is, I believe, load bearing, but it's solid brick wall, so it would be difficult to knock that down. So when I first looked round this, it was actually still being used as a church. This is where everything used to happen. They used to have a band on here, and they used to conduct the service from here. Now, standing on the stage, they used to have a video camera up here pointing at the stage, and then for the people who were sitting around there, around the other side of this thing, they had a TV screen on the back of this that people sat down there would watch to see what was going on here, which is a very creative use of the space. Otherwise, that would just be completely dead space. Interesting. So if I show you out the window, I'm not sure you'll be able to see on this camera, but just there, where that little red sign is, that's the university. So it's really close, just a short walk down here, and you're at the university. We're targeting this at students. So it's very well located. And you've got someone famous around the corner, or not famous around the corner anymore, but Phones for You, the company, was very first. They used to have their very first office. You can't see it from here, but literally just there. So that's the origin of Phones for You. But yeah, this is Kearsley Chambers. We're still thinking of a name to rename it. So yeah, any suggestions that anyone have, I'm more than happy to hear. And some great suggestions have been made so far. I was just speaking to a letting agent who was looking around it, and for some reason we went down the Harry Potter. I mean, it's Chambers, which is kind of Harry Potter, Kearsley Chambers. So we're thinking maybe Phoenix Towers or Phoenix Court, Phoenix Halls, something like that. I don't know what's the other Harry Potter ones. Goblet of Student Halls. I don't know. If you've got any suggestions, then let us know. It'd be great, because we need to start doing that quite soon, so we can build a website to help market it, and we can start creating the banners to go on the outside to let people going past know that this is going to be student halls. So the plan is to start off putting all the services in, but then do the majority of the work on the ground floor. So we get the ground floor done, start on the first floor, and then once that is underway, start conducting viewings around the ground floor and letting those rooms. And then by the time people move in, the first floor will be done, which means that there won't be as much noise, and they'll be working on the top floor whilst we let out the first floor, etc., etc. So it just allows us to capitalise on the market and start to get tenants locked down sooner rather than later. Yeah, love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for taking the time to watch this, and if you have any suggestions or you want to come and have a look round or keep track of the build as we go along, I'll be doing more videos, and I'll be showing people around as well. I've already had a couple of people asking if they could have a tour around it and see the progress in person. So it's up north of the country, so you know where London is, it's above that, quite a long way. So yeah, let me know if you want to have a look around, and we can show you around. Yeah, thank you for watching.